Welcome back. It is now part 3 and the second section of the song that I released called To Us. I'm joined here by my sound engineer,
Bryce.
Lovely to meet
Hello.
you all.
I hope you've been watching the other few.
Yeah.
I wasn't intending to introduce myself again.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to introduce
I'm not used to
yourself
like the
with all
YouTube
sections. Yeah, that's fair.
making videos
That's fair.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm such a veteran with like 2 other videos. But anyways, so this next section covers a little bit more of the song and is probably the most intense portion, and I'm sure you can agree with that. Yeah. From the chorus, the very first chorus, and it leads to the end of the second chorus, the landscape changes. And the last episode, I dare call it, we talked about how when I delivered this to Bryce, we really talked about like the landscape of what we wanted to achieve. And in this regard, the landscape completely changes. And the reference that I had given to Bryce is the book, if you guys have read it as children, Where the Wild Things Are.
Oh, watched it. I watched the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
He was bougie. I read the book.
You've never watched it?
No, I read the book in
okay.
public school.
Wow, okay.
But I mean, maybe I'll watch it after this. But in regards to Where the Wild Things Are in particular, it's kind of the aspect of as the kid, you know, escapes his room and walks into the wilderness, things get more lavish and lush. And in some ways, it's a very attractive environment. But at the end of this trip, he still craves to go home, to have his dinner at home, you know. There's still a call to a return. And there's a similar aspect in that with the lyrics, kind of especially when I write, what do I write? When I write, na, 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 hoping that we share this sentiment, which, you know, is hoping that the other person involved, you know, still kind of mourns the loss of whatever the relationship may be equally as much as you have. In terms of the layering, we've got quite a few layers in here, if you couldn't tell. I'll play it now and listen along as I break it down. So first we kind of lead in with a little bit of a rising pad. And then the first thing is just a lead vocal. Crazy stuff. But second to that, here comes the backing vocals. Thanks to Bryce's suggestion. Onwards, we add in a piano and we add in a pad synth just to make it lush. Additional, we've got this like fake bass layer, which is actually just the acoustic guitar, but I play just on the mid strings. Additional to that, percussion, cowbell pulses, guitars come in, and suddenly there's just so much going on, hey. And this is the full length of everything going on at the same time. And it's a very, very far cry from the first verse and the first chorus, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And I think one of the funny things as well was the original keyboard that was in here. If you don't know me personally, I play piano at church. That's how I like learned it. That's how I've grown up. And I had to sit in my room and I had to be like pop playing, hoping that it would translate. But I think it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, no, I think what you done with the piano was great.
Thank you. Try my hardest. So if you're ever struggling to break free from your church playing, just sit in your room and just beg God for some pop playing, honestly.
How many takes did you?
I sat there for like, I think 2-3 hours of just playing, and then I took another hour to like properly edit the MIDI so that it was a bit more consistent. And then something as well that was kind of happening is that things were really flowy, so they weren't very strict to the, what's it called? Strict to time. So I couldn't exactly like snap all of the MIDI in place. I had to kind of adjust it very subtly here and there.
Welcome to the life of producing and engineering. The thing that was keeping time is Toby's playing.
Yeah.
And that's a human playing an instrument. So he's not going to be gridded.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to snap the MIDI to the guitar.
Rather than to the whole project. So it was a day in his life and it was very painful for me.
Unless you play the piano perfectly, and then you don't have to worry about editing.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally do. Yeah, that's just how I live my life. No jokes. Something that Bryce also added, in addition to Toby's guitars, he added quite a few more, didn't you?
I did, and for full disclaimer, I can't play guitar. I can strum a E minor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's it. It'll be like a really stringy sound as well. But I was very much inspired and off the idea of where the wild things are, and
Yeah.
yeah, pulled out my dad's electric guitar and just made sounds with it.
And turned into a pro guitarist. All it takes is just one listen to my track. You too could also be a pro guitarist.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you these.
Yeah.
Because you haven't heard them in isolation, so you
No, I
might not
haven't.
know, like, oh, there's actually this guitar there.
Yeah, I'm
Like
curious.
guitar. Yeah.
I could listen to some of it, and I was kind of coining the term as like the meow guitars, because the way that it was like playing was it was going meow, meow, kind of thing, and I just like it was great. So now I get to hear it in
Yeah,
isolation.
let's hear the meow guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I would have never realized.
Yeah.
By itself, it sounds so bluesy, which is so interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just literally me with a little shot glass, holding it on the string.
Oh,
plucking
yeah.
the string and
yeah,
then-
yeah. Classic.
Yeah.
No,
Chris
that sounds
Wiseman.
legit as.
Yeah.
Day in the life of a sound engineer, chucking in things that
Drench
you didn't
and
know were
reverb.
making the magic. There you go. That's crazy. I love that.
Let's see what else we had. So you call that the meow guitar,
meow
call it the
guitars.
steel guitar.
I think meow guitar is a better term.
What else did we had? We had next thing. I tried to progress it like every 4 bars or something, have something new come in.
Huh. I knew there was something that was going like do-do-do-do-do, but I thought that was kind of like some processing that you were doing, like some really odd side chaining or something.
I don't know if I changed notes. I think I held a note.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, okay. Yes, those plucks you heard, they were just me trying to find the harmonics of the guitar and just plucking it and reverb again.
Look at you go.
And I think I had some more plucks going on here.
Oh, I didn't realize that was in there.
Yeah, so they pan left to right.
Oh,
Yeah.
all the layers are unlocked.
I think we had one more thing.
That's nice.
So towards the end of the chorus, it sounded like this.
That
Yeah.
was so whimsical. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
so
fun.
cute.
It's
Yeah,
very, very fun to
yeah,
do.
yeah. From the chorus that we're on at the moment, it keeps going on. There's a lot of stuff to it. What I did do, I remember that I added that was in the demo that I delivered to you, was the presence of a kick drum. And if you notice, there wasn't really a lot of percussion leading up to it. It suddenly comes out of nowhere, and the way that the kick drum actually comes in is reminiscent of a heartbeat. And it pumps in a way that makes you feel like you're following the song on like a biological level as you follow the rhythm, because it just adds a new layer of immersiveness. Just something subtle that I thought about.
The original programming you had for the drum kick, I had to change it because with Toby's playing, it just didn't fit the guitar part anymore.
Oh yeah.
So I reprogrammed it and It was a completely different rhythm. It was playing from the original one.
Interesting. There you go.
But again,
But it still
like
had
you
like
said,
the same intention.
Yeah.
But now instead of following my heartbeat, you're following Bryce's heartbeat. That was news to me, that the heartbeat was different. But that's fun, and that's the joy of working with someone. They come up with parts that you would have never thought of.
Did you even know that it's not your vocals anymore?
Yeah, you actually contacted Mariah Carey, didn't
Yeah.
you? Yeah. And then she gave you vocal lessons, and then you actually sang all of it. So guys, it's actually not even my song.
Yeah.
In very, very small brackets, terms and conditions, under the sale sign, it says actually by Bryce. Yeah, I can confirm that right here. Continuing from that, if we're gonna go break down the vocals, they were very airy, and these are some vocals that we actually recorded in studio, and I'm sure Bryce can remember the studio moments. What was your mic choices?
Do I remember the studio moments?
Okay.
I think I had 87 on your vocals.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
You used
no,
AKG.
87 for the lead, and then for the harmonies, it was a C414.
Yeah, I remember the C414. In the version that I sent to Bryce, this part actually didn't have any backing harmonies. And he suggested to me, I think it would be great. And he was absolutely right. And so what we did first is I workshopped it at home. I figured out my parts a little bit. And then with the lines that I had, we just picked and chose the right ones that weren't going to ruin things too much. And then we recorded it in studio down at JMC.
The reason why I love getting in at the recording stage is you can be like selective with how you record things to achieve a certain vision. And yeah, so I already knew, we're gonna have the harmonies, airy, fairy, and so it's like, how do we do that at the recording stage? So it was a lot easier when it came to mixing it, because the intention was already there.
Yeah, and if I think about how I recorded it at home in my bedroom in comparison to the way that Bryce actually set it up in studio, I had my mic placement like here, right? And I think with especially the backing vocals, because you wanted to add more of the air, you actually had it more higher up when I was recording, and obviously better distance than literally being up there. And that is just subtle placement that made a world of a difference. Oh, something that I really liked that I did is I switch up the rhythm a little bit, and I add a small triplet feel, and it's just a nice little change that I put in. And you'll hear it now.
Beautiful.
But that arpeggio was a pain in my bum when it came to doing like snapping the MIDI to match the guitar, because there were so many notes and it was very, very painful. But it worked out because it sounds amazing in it. And that was probably one of my favorite parts to record, I reckon, as well, which is cool. But that's basically the chorus. The presence of more vocals also makes it a world different to how it was in the beginning, and you can really feel how it expands and how you're like in the forest by that point, really. But it draws back a little bit right at the end as it falls off, as you would hear at this section here. And then a cassette comes in, whirring a little bit. I was off. And then we're in the last section there. But that is a really cinematic moment, is what I actually had a few reviews from a few of my friends and family that have listened. And the intention that I had behind it when I put in the cassette is it's supposed to be fast forwarding. So time has passed, and now you're in a section where you've come to accept that things are just the way that they are. And that's what the next section will be about. That is the end of this middle section, end of part 3, and the second section of the song. A little bit confusing there. Be sure to check out our last one. Hopefully you guys are, tuning in, learning a few things, or just being entertained. I hope you are at least entertained. Thanks for supporting us so far, and we'll see you in the next installment. Adios. All right, cameraman.